Welcome to a tutorial that is literally going to save you guys so much time, as this is how I retouch my skin in basically one click with Luminar Neo. It's very similar to Photoshop, but it's just not overcomplicated and also not time consuming to learn and use. So this is my personal experience with Luminar Neo. It's a great software, but it definitely has its little quirks and limitations. So whether you guys are a professional photographer or you just want to learn how to easily retouch the skin of your portrait photography, this video is definitely for you. So I mainly use Luminar Neo as a plugin for Lightroom. So here we are in Lightroom Classic, and here's a photo that I've just edited of my girlfriend Maria. I've used my portrait blue preset. Here is the before and here is the after. So to use Luminar Neo as a plugin, all you have to do is go down to the bottom here on the photo, right click the photo, and go up to edit in and then edit in Luminar Neo as a plugin. Straight away you're going to get a bit of a confusing graph. As long as it's in TIFF, 16-bit component, and the resolution is 300, you're not going to compress or lose any quality of your photo. So if we click edit, it's automatically going to open Luminar Neo. And now this is the landing page of Luminar Neo, and I've actually made two presets that are going to be available for you guys for free. It's my skin retouching presets here in Luminar Neo. So if we go into the presets, we have two presets. They're basically the same presets, but one does have a automatic blemish removal. Now the blemish removal doesn't work 100% of the time. On this photo, let's just see if it's going to work. So I'm going to zoom in on Maria's face here. We're going to just click the first skin one, and this is with the automatic blemish removals. So we're just going to see if it removes some of these little blemishes here. With the preset applied, you can see it's done a pretty good job. Here is the before and here is the after. You can still see there's a few blemishes that it didn't miss, but those are very easy to edit out. All you go to is this top edit tab up here on the top right. Zoom in a little bit more on your image. So if we go to the erase tool, we just bring the size down as small as possible, and we're just gonna get rid of that little dot that it's missed. And that's pretty much all I do. We can see her eye is tack sharp, her eyebrows have been improved, they've been dark. It is relighting the face a little bit, so you're getting a little bit of dodge of burn. The lips are a bit more saturated. And if we just look at the before and the after. So if you have watched the video this far and you're already sold on the software so far, there is a link down below. Luminar Neo has not sponsored this video. I actually reached out to them to become an affiliate, and they gave you guys a 10% discount on the yearly and lifetime subscriptions if you use the code Gerard. There is also those two free templates that you guys can try out, and you can also sign up to a 7-day free trial with Luminar Neo. Download those presets and have a go for yourself. There is a whole lot more that you can do in the software, which we're about to find out right now, and we're about to edit another photo of Maria. This one is definitely a bit more advanced editing techniques. So here is another shot of Maria, and I've edited this with my presets and removed the grain on this one. So this portrait is really well lit, and it's really gonna show off those blemishes a lot more. Straight off the bat, I'm gonna try my first preset, and this is gonna do the AI blemish removal. About 90% of the time this does work, but there is a few cases that it's just too much for it. That's what it looks like with the AI blemish removal. I mean, that's pretty good. It has kind of discolored the skin here a little bit and a little bit of pixel burning. Also here a little bit. It's missed a few blemishes, but if you go before and after, it looks pretty good. Like that on social media will run fine. Since I really want to show you guys a really good technique just to give it that little bit of extra spice, we're going to undo that and we're going to run with my other preset, and this is without the AI blemish removal. So that is before and that is after. We're still getting plenty of detail and sharpness in the eyes and the eyebrows and the lips, but it's just gonna soften that skin slightly. So we're gonna go back into the edit tab. We're gonna zoom right in on Maria's face, and we're just gonna go to the erase tool, bring the size right down, and we're just gonna get rid of all these little blemishes here. Now, you don't have to be perfect with this erase tool. It's not like the one in Lightroom where if you miss slightly, it just screws everything up. It uses AI, and it's much more intelligent than Lightroom, I found. So we're just going to erase a few of those blemishes there. So we've done a pretty good job there. To move around the skin, you've got to go out of the erase tool and then move back around. Just going to go back into the erase tool, bring that size down. Just going to get rid of this one right here, maybe this one and that one. So just from adding the preset and then going into the erase tool, these are the results we've managed to achieve. We have gone from this with a couple of blemishes and uneven skin to removing the blemishes and quite even skin. So you can go back into the erase tool and try get rid of all of these other little blemishes, but the best way that I've found is jumping into the structure AI, hitting on masks, hit the brush function, bring the strength right down. I'm going to bring the size right up, just manually masking over the skin here very gently. And then we're just going to bring that size down a little bit. We're just going to come around and you know, this doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting around the eyebrows, trying not to hit the eyebrows or the eyes. And we're just going to brush away any of these little blemishes. And you're probably thinking to yourself, why is the skin red? This is just basically, it's just showing you where the mask is. You can also see that it's quite a light red, and bringing up the strength is going to give you a darker red. Just going to zoom out, zoom in. Just zoom in on the chin here a little bit. Bring down the size a little bit. We don't want to, and just bring down the strength a tiny bit. I'm just going to get around this little bit of the chin. And maybe just this top lip here. And just try and link it in. So subtlety is very key here. Yeah, this doesn't really have to be perfect. So if we zoom out a little bit, and then we come into the adjustments layer, and then I usually bring this down to about -40 to -50. And the reason for that is I like to have it very subtle at the start, and then I like to be able to increase it as I go. So I'm going to bring this straight down to about -43. And if you toggle that on, you can really see what that's doing already. And you can see there's a couple more blemishes here. So we're just going to zoom in here. We're going to go back to the masking. We're going to just get that full strength. So we're at 100% strength. And now we can really just mask out the places that we don't want. So we might come into the adjustments, might bring this up to about 45. Go into the masking. I'm going to bring the strength down. I'm just going to get this little bit here. And it's really important not to touch any of the eyelashes or the eyes or around the eyebrows and stuff, because you want the eyebrows and the eyes very saturated, very textured, and very sharp. That's what really pops in a portrait, is the eyes being sharp, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, and the lips being nice and saturated. So that is a more advanced technique to get rid of more of the blemishes. There is a before and there is an after. Now you can see there's a couple more blemishes here, so you can go back into the erase tool and just delete them as you want. So let's do that now. Just got a couple of little red spots here that I just want to get rid of. And I've found that sometimes if you use a bigger erase tool, it really just smooths out the skin a lot better. So I just do it as I go. And I'm just going to get rid of that one. And we also have a little one just here that's kind of distracting. Very rough. It's very good. And you can just see that if you just keep slightly readjusting and retouching as you go, it just keeps getting better and better. So if we just zoom into about 50% and we quickly look at what we have done, there's the before and there's the after. If you guys are actually wondering what this preset is doing, it is actually relighting the subject a little bit, and I just have this very subtle at number 2, and that is just giving it a slight amount of high key look. If you come into the face AI, this is where kind of the magic starts, and it really relights the face. So if we turn this off and on, you can just see that it gets the perfect exposure for the skin. It also relights the eyes and the eyes iris. You can enlarge the eyes and stuff like that, but I don't really touch any of those fake tools. I just find subtlety is key again. And then if you go into the skin, this is where it really maps out the skin and smooths out the skin. And this is also where you'll find your skin defects AI removal tool. Okay, so there is way more things that you can do in Luminar Neo that we've covered in this video. You guys have probably seen more of the sponsored videos like the sky replacement and all of those really tricky stuff. I don't tend to use those. There's actually 2 updates with the Luminar Neo that I love, and we're just going to touch on those really briefly. So here is a photo in Japan that I took. This is one of my favorite photos that I've taken. I've edited this again with my Lightroom presets. They are linked link down below. But while I was shooting in Mount Fuji, I had a lot of dust on my sensor, and I did not have a dust sensor cleaning kit with me, and there was no camera stores at Mount Fuji. This image was shot at 2.8, and you can see that I was getting a very consistent dust spot in the same place. So if we go here into the tools and we just hit the erase and we go remove all dust spots, it's automatically going to detect the dust spots that are in the image, and look at that, it's just got rid of that dust spot automatically. You can do this in Lightroom, and you can do this using the manual erase tool, but I've found this dust spot removal tool so much time saving. I can take a bunch of high aperture landscape photos, export them as a TIFF in Lightroom, bring them straight into Luminar Neo, put this erase tool on one of my photos, and then sync all of these adjustments, and within about a minute, I've got rid of every single dust spot in about 20 or 30 photos. So that is a great tool. Here is another example, and this is using a Luminar Neo extension that you have to buy separately, and this one is called Noiseless AI. This one is definitely a lot better than the noise removal in Lightroom. That really just does the overall image, where this is using AI to detect where the noise is and only removing the noise where it is, rather than removing the noise of the whole image, which ends up making your image very soft, and you definitely lose detail where the noise is not present. So if we zoom right into about 133%, you can see that there is quite a lot of noise of this image. When I was shooting this image, I really had to shoot for these highlights of these neon signs. So it ended up being the sky was super black, and I just wanted more of that blue punk rock kind of vibe. So bringing up the exposure of the highlights resulted in a lot of noise in the highlights. So it's telling us to use the medium adjustment, but I'm just gonna be a rebel and we're gonna use the high. And this actually definitely takes its time, but look at that, it's done. Now you can change the details and the sharpness a little bit, but this has cleaned up the image a lot. Here's the before and here's the after. When you zoom out, you can't really notice much noise in this image anymore. So guys, you can basically do everything in Lightroom and Photoshop that we talked about today, but I just find Luminar Neo a much easier process and much faster. Sure, it's not as advanced as Photoshop. You can definitely do a lot more in Photoshop, but man, it is so confusing. There's all these buttons that I don't even know what it does, and sometimes I'll start editing in Photoshop and then all of a sudden I can't get back to where I was and it all gets screwed up, so I just have to start again. Where Luminar Neo has made the process of manipulating photos and retouching skin very easy and very inspiring and confidence boosting. Make sure you guys hit that description in the link down below and get that 10% off the yearly and lifetime subscriptions using the discount code Gerard. Also, if you guys like the way that I edit my photos, I do actually sell presets. My Shopify store is linked down below. And big shout out to my girlfriend Maria for putting her skin out there and putting her face out there to make this video possible. So every time you guys click or buy a subscription, all of those sales are actually going to go to Maria. She is starting up her own photography career. All her socials are linked down below. Make sure you click onto her Instagram and follow along her photography and video journey. If you guys want to see some more Japan content, I actually made a little cinematic clip of some footage and photos. You guys can watch that 2-minute film right here. Or make sure you subscribe and check out my other content, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.